Everything that God created was created with a destiny. Even the animal and plant kingdom. Nothing exists without a predestined life. And I'm going to show you that today. I want to begin with a few general statements. Number one, every human was created by God to live life with meaning and purpose. You were not created just to make a living. And number two, until you discover that purpose for which you was created, you will never be fulfilled. Never. You'll be frustrated, disillusioned, tired, grumbling and disgruntled, not knowing why you're waking up on Monday mornings. I want to begin today with what I call the 5 questions of the human heart. I want you to write them down. These questions are the most powerful questions on earth. They are the most important questions on planet Earth. And these 5 questions control every human life. As a matter of fact, the clothes you wear are controlled by these questions. Where you live right now was controlled by these questions. What you studied in college or what you are studying in college now is controlled by these questions. The friends that you've decided to associate with in your life are controlled by these questions. These questions control how you fix your hair, how you cut your hair. They control how much money you spend on your clothing. These 5 questions are so powerful, they control every industry on earth. These 5 questions control the crime in this city. These 5 questions control corruption in politics and corruption in the pulpit. These 5 questions are the source of the gangs in your city. These 5 questions make a dope dealer sell dope. These 5 questions cause a woman to leave her husband and a husband to leave his wife. These 5 questions cause people to abuse their children. These 5 questions are the source of all the immoral behavior in your community. These 5 questions control the clothing industry. They control the real estate industry. These 5 questions control every human being on planet Earth. 6.7 billion people on Earth are trying to find the answer to these 5 questions. I know all of them are. As a matter of fact, the man sleeping under the bridge tonight is trying to find the answer to these 5 questions, and the man living by the sea in a $2 million house is trying to find the same answers. Everyone, black, white, yellow, pink, orange, we are all controlled by these 5 questions. Matter of fact, you came here to this meeting today because of these 5 questions. These 5 questions are so powerful that these were the questions that drove Jesus to act the way he acted and do what he did. They even controlled him. And the problem is, until you answer these 5 questions, you can never have a meaningful life. These 5 questions are the source of all human behavior. They motivate everything you do. I'm sure by now you want to know what they are. First question, write it down. Number 1, who am I? It's a tough question. It seems simple, but it's not. Because the average person here, sitting here today, don't know who they are. That's why you wear other people. It's called brand names. Because you don't know who we are, we wear people's images like Calvin Klein and Fubu and Nike and Giorgio. We have to wear people to feel important because we don't know who we are. We cut our hair a certain way so we can look like other people. We We walk like other people, want to act and even preach like other people. We want to imitate because we have no identity. It's incredible how subtle this question is. And this question caused people to do foolish things, even though they are intelligent. Who am I? The second question that controls your life is, where am I from? This question has nothing to do with ethnicity. As a matter of fact, the college professor have tried to fool you into believing that you came from some slime that became a salamander 6 million years ago on the beach, that became a tadpole, that became some lizard, that became a monkey, that became you. That's what I call evolution foolishness. But if you think you came from that, no wonder why we kill people. After all, what's the value of a chimpanzee? That's why life means nothing to us. We've reduced it to some sophisticated salamander with legs. It's not funny, because if they reduce your value, then killing you is no problem. Where are you from? And don't tell me that you are from some ethnic background, because you are so mixed up. If you try to find yourself by going back ethnically, you'll get lost. And you might find someone like me in your family. You might like it. Don't go back. Gotcha. And so we live in this false belief that we know where we came from. And we don't know where we came from. And until you know where you came from, your life has no value, because your value comes from your source. Where did you come from? Third question that impacts and controls your life is, why am I here? It's a tough question. It's the one we hate to talk about, because we want everybody to think we know why we're here. So we keep it quiet. But the average person in this room don't know why they exist. So we go to work every morning, stuck in traffic, get mad, go to the same job we hate, do the same work we hate to do, go back home to a house we can't sleep in, watch the news every night that depresses us, play our ball games, and then wake up the next morning, go through it again, and do it till we're 65, and then they fire us and give us a rocking chair and call it retirement. This is not life. And after you pay the mortgage off, you're too old to enjoy the house. What a frustration. Why are you here? The average person don't know why. So they keep busy. Even religion is being used to keep us busy, because we're afraid we don't know why we're here. Why am I here? The fourth question that frustrates every human being is, what can I do? What is my true ability? What is my true potential? What did I really have inside that I can do? Matter of fact, I guarantee you right now, the person sitting behind you are living far below their true ability. What we call success, God's ashamed of. You know, scientists have proven, according to their analysis, that every human only uses at least 10% of their brain power. And then they die. That means the average person uses 10%. So to be a genius, all you got to use is 12%. So even a genius is not a genius. People are so average, you don't need to do much to become a genius. What can you truly do? What is your true ability? And the last question is the roughest one. Where am I going? Now this one we don't talk about, because the average person wants you to think they know where they're going. Most people are simply going to old. Where are you going? I'm going to be old. What is your destiny? What is your sense of destination? What is your address for the future? What are you born to accomplish? How do you know when you're finished? The average person doesn't. So they just retire and rot. Senility and paralysis sets in. They have no destination for their lives. They live just to retire. This is frustration. You were not born just to retire. You were not born just to keep a budget going and to keep a mortgage payment. You're more important than paying light bills until you die. And such is life. People live all these years going to the same job, making other people rich, and they die in their poverty. Can I suggest to you that these 5 questions can frustrate you? I spent the last 37 years of my life researching these 5 questions. That's why most of my books out there are selling so well, because I deal with the issues that touch the reality of who you are. We have to deal with these questions no matter how cute you think you are. That's why we fake it so well. We make people think we know where we're going and who we are, and so we put on other people. We go to places we hate. We walk around as if we know where we're going, and we go in circles. We drive the best cars to nowhere. What a frustration life must be. Listen, young woman, young man, I'm glad you're here this morning. I don't want you to be like your parents. They are frustrated. It's rough. And so because we can't find these questions, we join gangs of people who don't. We join gangs, not like just street gangs. We got gangs called country club. It's a gang where people get together and they talk about nothing. No purpose, no destiny. That's why they got time to spend in a club. You were not born as an experiment. That's why I always tell people that the greatest tragedy in life is not death. The greatest tragedy in life is something worse than death, and it's life without a purpose. It is more tragic for you to be alive and not know why than to be dead and not know life. Because a dead man doesn't have to give a reason for his day. This is why I'm convinced that most of us die never knowing why we were born. Even Christianity doesn't deal with the questions alone. People are born again and still don't know why they're here, what they were born to do, what their true potential is. One day I was asking God as a teenager, I said, oh God, what is the most important place on earth? What is the wealthiest spot on earth? And the Lord gave me an answer that blew my mind. First of all, I thought that the wealthiest spot on earth was the oil fields of Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, and the Oman. I thought that the wealthiest spot on earth was the diamond mines of South Africa. I thought the wealthiest spot on earth was the silver mines of Central America, the gold mines of South America. I thought the wealthiest spot on earth was the seas of the Bahamas or around the barrier reefs of Australia. I thought the wealthiest spot on earth was those beautiful mines in the Soviet Union where they make uranium. I thought that the wealthiest spot on earth was the wonderful deposits of precious stones in the world. But then the Lord told me that the wealthiest spot on earth is not the gold mines. It's not the diamond mines. It's not the oil fields. I found that the wealthiest spot on earth is not too far from your house. You probably pass it every day on your way to work. The wealthiest spot on earth, on this planet, is the cemetery. Why is the cemetery so wealthy? Because you see, buried in the cemetery are books that were never written. The cemetery is filled with music that was never played. It's filled with paintings that were never painted. The cemetery is filled with poetry that no one has ever read. The graveyard is filled with visions that never became reality. The cemetery is filled with dreams that died as nightmares. The cemetery is filled with businesses that never opened. The cemetery is filled with inventions that no one has ever used. The graveyard is filled with great men who died as paupers and alcoholics. The cemetery is a rich place. It's filled with great women who died as prostitutes and drug addicts. The cemetery is filled with solutions that no one has ever had a problem to solve. People have died with remedies that the world has never used because they died with the ideas in their head. The cemetery is filled with leaders that died as followers. The cemetery is filled with answers to questions that were never asked. The cemetery is a rich place is filled with ideas that no one has ever been enjoying. The cemetery is filled with products that no one has ever used, and sitting next to you is a cemetery candidate. That's why I came to Australia. I flew 24 hours to come here because the Holy Spirit told me that there'd be in this meeting people who don't know how close they are to the cemetery, and they're full of treasure. I came to Adelaide because sitting behind you is somebody with a song no one has ever sung, a book no one has ever read, a magazine no one has ever published, a dream that no one has ever seen, an idea no one has ever benefited from. Sitting next to you are great people that no one knows yet, and the graveyard might get them. I came to Adelaide for this brief moment because I'm driven by a passion. And that passion is, God sent me here because I'm afraid that sitting next to you is a candidate to add to the wealth of the cemetery. I really came here with one hope, and that hope is to help you die empty. You were born to die like Paul the apostle. It is finished. I've finished my course. I've kept my faith. You're supposed to die like Jesus. I've finished. Die like Moses. I've seen it. Don't die old. Die empty. Some of you are supposed to be dead a long time ago. But the reason why God extends life is because you are still full of stuff. Being old doesn't mean you are blessed. It might mean you are ignorant and hard-headed. Don't laugh. Here's why. Jesus died at 33. Is that old? No, but he was finished. Have you found your treasure? You came to earth to make a deposit. You came to earth to leave something with us. Not your mortgage payments, not your bills, but your gift. Tell your neighbor, die empty. Come on, say it loud. Tell them again, die empty. See, the people sitting around you are carrying gifts that belong to you. Whatever God gave you to give to this planet does not belong to you. It belongs to us. What do you call this wealth in the cemetery? I found out what it is. Write it down. It is the word potential. The graveyard is filled with God's deposit of potential in human beings. They keep taking the dreams to the cemetery. And I came here, sent by God from a faraway country to tell you, you must not die full. What is potential? Write this down. Number one, potential is defined as dormant power. Potential is untapped strength. Potential is hidden ability. Potential is unused success. How many people are sitting in here and they are still in the failure zone? We haven't seen the real you yet. I know you're 70, but you still haven't revealed your true self yet. And the graveyard is getting closer. You keep procrastinating on the books that God told you to write 10 years ago, and the kids can't read them because you got them, and you're going to steal it from the generation. The whole generation is crying out for you to leave your gift for them. The reason why I work so hard, and I've produced and done television work and built buildings and established schools and write books, why? Because I can't afford to rob the next generation. Procrastination is a thief of generations. Untapped power. Much of what you've done so far is nothing compared to what you're supposed to be doing. Listen, you may never see me again, but God sent me with a message. You are still full, and he's frustrated over you because you're procrastinating, postponing destiny. We get so petty about our little problems, we forget about the generation that needs us. This church is not a babysitting church. This is a place where you germinate seeds that become forests. If you come here just to get a burial, you're in the wrong place. You come here to give your life to the world. Everybody say potential. Say it loud, potential. The first place that God reveals potential principle is awesome. Oh, please listen to me. I got so much to say, but I can't say it because I don't have the time. God himself is potential. Write this word down. Write it down. O-M-N-I. The word omni means all. Write it down. A-L-L, all. It means always all. It's a powerful word. Now write this word down. P-O-T-E-N-T. It's the word potent. It means, write it down, power, ability, strength, energy, force. Potent. Potent. Power, ability, strength, energy, force. Now, write the word again. O-M-N-I. Now write the word P-O-T-E-N-T right next to it. You produced a new word. What's that word? Omnipotent. Interesting. There's only one person that word is ascribed to, and it's God. And it means what? All power, all might, all strength, all ability, all potential. God himself is omnipotent. He's always full of potential. That means God still got power that's dormant. Here God created the universe. Scientists have finally discovered over 500 million galaxies. Each galaxy has hundreds and thousands of solar systems. Our earth is a part of one solar system around one sun. They found millions of suns, and all of that came out of God. But the Bible says all things are made by him. That means God had inside of him 500 million galaxies on the inside of him. Before anything was, God is. And everything that is was in God. If you meant God before anything was, standing on nothing by the corner of nowhere, and you shook his hands, you'd be shaking hands with everything, but you wouldn't have known it because everything was inside of God. Give him a big hand for being awesome. There was a time when God was pregnant with the universe. And nothing existed except God. And then God began to release the universe. 500 million galaxies so far we've counted, and they all came out of God. And God still looks at it and says, this is good. But he says, I am still omnipotent. You ain't seen nothing yet. You ought to praise him real loud. I am still omnipotent, he says. All powerful. When I first discovered that truth, God reminded me. He said, therefore, respect everybody, son. Because just like you would have met me and didn't know what I was carrying, you are meeting people and don't know what I put in them. You don't know your wife. All you know is what she's shown you so far. She is full of stuff God put in her. Don't abuse your husband. You don't know who he is yet. Don't cancel your children. That's why God loves the backslider, because in the backslider is treasure that God knows about. That's why God throws no one away. Only people do. Everybody say potential. Let me put it this way. The first time God introduces the potential principle is found in Genesis chapter 1. Verse 11, God says, then God let the earth bring forth grass and herb that yields seed after its own kind. And then he says, whose seed is in itself. It's a powerful statement. That's the potential principle in creation. God put it there. He said, I put the seed of everything in itself. In the Hebrew, it actually means I put what is supposed to become in the thing. It's called the potential principle. Verse 12, and the earth brought forth grass and herb that yields seed according to its own kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself according to its kind. And God said, this is good. God says, I always place the seed of everything in itself. This is very important, friends, because when I leave this city in a few moments, you will never be the same if you capture this revelation. And here it is. Whatever something is created to become, God put it in the thing. God therefore reduces all creative life to the seed principle. That means the seed principle goes like this. In every seed is a tree. So here I am with an apple seed. See it there? Look at that apple seed. See it there? By faith. You see it by faith? Apple seed. Now I ask you a question. What do I have in my hand? You answer, a seed. Well, that's a fact, but it's not true. There's a big difference between a fact and a truth. The word fact, write it down, it means a description of the present state of things. That's a fact. What is a fact? The description of the present state of a thing. So I ask you, what's in my hand? What do you see? You say you see a seed. That is a fact. But that's not the truth. Truth is, we'll give you truth. Truth is the reality of a thing. Write that down. Truth is actually defined as original information. Original information. So I ask you, what's in my hand? You say, I got a seed. You see a seed. You're right. That's a fact. But it's not the truth. The truth is I have a seed in my hand. That's the truth. But that's not the complete truth either, because in that tree that's in the seed there's also fruit. But that's not the complete truth either, because the seed that has the tree that has the fruit, those fruit also got seeds. So in my hand I got a tree with fruit with seeds. But that's not the complete truth either, because those seeds got trees. And those trees got fruit, and those fruit got seeds that have trees, that have fruit, that have seeds with trees with fruit, that have seeds with trees with fruit, that have seeds with trees with fruit. And no fruit got trees with fruit. And in my hand I got an orchard. Only God could do that. Give God a praise this morning. God says, I have done that with everything. I placed the seed of everything in itself. That means God always hides the end. This is why God does not create trees anymore. Listen to me carefully now. What God did, everything God did. In every seed, God hid a forest. In every cow, God hid a herd. In every fish, God hid a school. In every bird, God hid a flock. He likes to hide things in things. In every boy, God hid a great man. In every girl, God hid an awesome woman. He hides the future. That's why God hates abortion. The death of a seed is the death of a forest. If you don't believe me, suppose Mary had an abortion. And she almost did. That doctor would have destroyed all of our salvation. We all go to hell. One act would have destroyed the salvation of the world. I wonder what was in the baby that was killed this morning in the hospital. My mother and father had 11 kids, 11 children. I am number 6. Suppose my father had said, that's enough at 5. He would have killed best-selling books in 87 countries. A multi-millionaire. A world-class teacher, an advisor to governments. He would not be killing a baby, he'd be killing a destiny. Fight for abortionists to be rid of their curse. Abortion, not destruction of a baby, is destruction of destinies. James Robinson, who you see on TV, is a product of rape. Everybody say potential. When God looks at you, he don't see a person. He sees a destiny. Your future is just like a seed. The future of a seed is not in the soil. It's in the seed. Your future is not ahead of you, son. Your future is trapped inside of you. That's why you are so powerful and dangerous to the devil. The devil says, if I can just kill you with drugs and with promiscuity and destroy you with alcohol, I'll kill the destiny. Young people, don't be foolish. It's not about just having a good time. It's about destruction of your destiny he's after. He's afraid of who you really are. So he wants your divorce to derail you so you never come back and be sane again. He tells you, your father don't love you, your mother abandoned you, you are nothing, and you feel like you are lost. But I've come to tell you, whether you're born in wedlock, out of wedlock, no lock at all, you are loaded with a destiny. You are valuable to the world, praise God. Shout amen, Australia. He trapped your future on the inside of you. That's why you dream so much. A seed dreams of 1,000 trees. And so you dream of 1,000 dreams. It's God's way. Let me close with this. I got to come back and finish this teaching. The death of a seed is the death of a forest. That's why Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. See, the three of them are together. They're not separate activities. If you kill a seed, you destroy the destiny, therefore you stole something from a generation. The thief comes to terminate destiny. That's why God sent me to tell you he loves you and he will never forget what he put in you. That's why Jesus died for you. He didn't die for you as an individual. He died for you because of his deposit. He came to salvage his destiny, his hidden treasure. Paul says we got this treasure in earthen vessels to show forth the glory of God. God hid in you something the world needs. And that's why Christ paid the price to get the product back. That's why it's called salvaging. Salvation. See, when men look at something, they see the seed. Men look at the outward appearance, son. Your mother don't know you. Your father call you names. They don't know you. God says they don't know you. But I know what I put inside you. If you keep falling back, God keeps coming to get you. Because he knows something you don't know about yourself. Only God can look at a seed and see a forest. Only God can look at a dirty, smelly shepherd boy and see a king. Only God can look at a murderer. And in the murderer, God can look and see Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy in a murderer. Only God could look at a murderer and see the laws of the land and the penal code and the hygiene code. Only God could look at the murderer and see the 10 Commandments buried on the inside. Only God could look at a murderer and he could see a deliverer of 1 million people. Only God could look at a prostitute and see the lineage of Jesus in Rahab. Only God could look at a serial killer whose name was Saul and look at a serial killer and he could see 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Colossians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Thessalonians. He saw the New Testament in a serial killer. That's why there's hope for you. Only God can look at an old man dried up at 75 years old and see a nation. That's why I came. Because only God can look at a little boy in a manger and see a king. He hides things. And God looks at this place today. He doesn't see what your neighbor sees. He doesn't see what your mother sees, or your father saw. He doesn't see what your children see. That's why you're still alive. You're carrying something. That's why you need to get to know him. You don't come to this place for a ritual. You come here because you want to know what he knows about you. Oh boy, I'm halfway finished, but my time is gone. I'll be back. Because you are loaded